Hello and welcome to the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from Northwest Community Television. It's time again for an update of what's new in Maple Grove and a look back at the most recent council meetings. Stay with us. Maple Grove City Report coming up next. And thank you for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report, joined by Al Madsen, City Administrator. Welcome again to the program, Al.
Thank you, Dave.
We taped this program in later October after the October 21st council meeting, and we'll get to a recap of that 17-minute meeting in just a minute, so we may beat that here. But first, let's go around town, Al. What's new in the city of Maple Grove that residents and viewers should know about?
Well, budget-wise, December 2nd is I think it's the 2nd, is the 2014 budget hearing. And the good news is that, and I can only speak for the Maple Grove portion of the tax bill, but 72 cents a year, that's what we're anticipating, the increase in Maple Grove taxes. So, and that's per year, 72 cents per year.
Less than a bottle of pop.
Yes, for sure.
Sounds pretty good.
Yes.
And how have you achieved that? Was that a difficult process? I know this is a long, drawn-out process each year for cities in the area.
Well, it is long, drawn out. We have good department directors that watch that bottom line. They watch our expenses very carefully. We've kept the line on hiring, new people. When a position becomes vacant, either through a retirement or a resignation, we do not fill it right away. We kind of extend that out a bit, and so that and just along the line, cost energy savings that we've implemented on some of our buildings have dropped the cost of those expenses, and so it's accumulation of things. But,
and the continuing growth of Maple Grove certainly does not hurt at all with housing and also commercial industrial.
That helps. There's no doubt about that. Yes, it does mean that you've got to provide greater level of services.
Right.
But yes, it certainly does have a positive effect as well. So.
All right, and that budget information, I would guess people can stop by the Government Center if they want to find out more and look at documents or online.
Or online, or in the upcoming newsletter.
Excellent.
There will be information, so if anybody is interested.
Give you the website at the end of the program in case you want to take a look at that or other things that might come up. Other things in Maple Grove?
We are at 206 single-family homes right now versus 184 last year. I think that I think we did about 225 last year, something like that. We will easily expand, or easily increase from last year. And then we have a number of multifamily housing projects that are underway. You've got the Botno Ridge, which is the Duffy development, and that's 50 units of a phase 2 100-unit project. Sky at Arbor Lakes, that's a 2-phase project with the first phase about 220 units. And then Silvercrest, I'm hoping that we'll be digging some ground at the end of October or very first part of November, and the first phase of Silvercrest, which is a senior development, 55 and older, that will be about 180 units, and then the second phase would be another 180. So that's across from Lifetime Fitness.
Right.
And it'll be 4 stories, and it'll just be a very, very prominent development right there. It's going to be just extremely attractive. And
how does that number of the multifamily units coming on compare to the past few years? Because it's been a while since you've had this type of multifamily development.
It has, no doubt about it. It's on the increase, clearly, because we've got the 180 with Sky, and you got with Silvercrest, you got 220 with Sky, and you got 50 with the Duffy project. So just in that area right there, we still have some developers that are looking at the greater area, and their projects, potential projects, do include multifamily. So it certainly is on the increase, no doubt about that. The Silvercrest property, that's, like I say, that's senior, 55 and older, so that's a little bit different than Sky at Arbor Lakes, which is market rate.
Right.
And then the Botno Ridge is a little bit different because that's affordable rental housing. And so the three of them have their own niche. And so they're
But
not
the need
gonna-
has been growing for all three of those
Yes,
areas, obviously.
really has. There's no doubt about that for sure. So we're looking forward to all of those projects being completed. The farmers market, October 24 will be the last day of the outside farmers market. Then on November 7, we go inside. I think there's about 25 vendors, somewhere around 25 vendors that are going to be inside. And so we tried the inside a couple of years ago as an experiment, and it went over very, very well. So everybody loves farmers markets in and out. So it's been just a tremendous success.
Outside ones have turned to popsicles now and some of those items for the last week or so here.
That's about it, right?
Or frozen vegetables
Frozen.
are always good at the farmers market in October.
Right, absolutely right. The dome is under construction. That started October 21, and that will be open on November 1st. It's quite a process to get that dome back up, and so it takes a while. But then November 1st, I think that's a very safe date to say that it will be open for operation. So.
And again, information is on the city's website
Yes.
as far as the walking schedule. So if people are a little too cold outside, they can start heading that direction.
Right. It's nice. I mean, I think it's a constant temperature in there of maybe 52, 55, something like that. But when
That
it's
sounds good.
yeah, when it's
We'll
when
take
it's
it.
when it's really cold outside, it's a perfect place to go walk. So, and it's a good sized dome. So I'm not quite. I can't quite remember what the distance is around it, but I think it's over a mile.
We'll put you on a test in the next
I'll have
month
to-
here. Get out there and walk a few times and give us the report.
Right, I'll have to check that out. Yep. Our Parkway Station, which is the city's second transit operation, this one is out by the hospital. We're adding a one-level parking ramp. That is will be we hope it'll be completed toward the middle to end of December.
Okay.
As long as the weather holds out, and so far it's moving along well, and that'll give us a capacity there of probably somewhere around 900 stalls. We're finding that the Parkway Station it's a huge success, no different than the Arbor Lakes. Arbor Lakes is running for many times 100% occupancy, and Parkway Station is running probably 75 to 80% just on the current surface parking. So once we put that ramp in, we're going to find that I think the parking is going to increase. So.
And for those that maybe haven't used that station for a while, but maybe will start doing that when the snow flies and it gets to winter, there is a temporary area, and it's still
Yes.
operational at this point. Tell us about
Right.
that if people maybe haven't been up there for a while and want to
Yes.
use it now.
Right, we've had to close down the current Parkway Station while construction's underway.
Right.
The temporary parking is in front of Slumberland, and so you see lots of cars parking there. That's the temporary area. We also have been working with Ryan Companies for some additional space because we're finding that the area in front of Slumberland is getting quite full. And obviously we don't want to infringe on Slumberland's business.
Sure.
And so we're working with Ryan Companies on some additional land there to park
Okay.
the cars.
Good.
So once the Parkway Station is complete, my thought is that probably in January we're going to start shifting the parking from in front of Slumberland over to our transit station.
All right, keep watching. We'll keep you certainly up to date on that progress.
Arbor Lakes Senior, which is along Arbor Lakes Boulevard, is going to be adding a memory care facility. That was part of their plan when they brought it into us. There's about 153 units, I think, of senior living there now. They're going to start construction on a project next year for a memory care unit, and that'll be it'll look the same as the facility that's now there, with the exception it'll be 2 floors instead of 4 floors.
Okay.
But it'll fit very nicely, and that's something that we knew was going to be coming, because when they brought in their original plan, they did talk about a second phase being a memory care facility.
Okay, and again, that's located right near the downtown area by the Great River Energy, just behind that building.
Just behind, yeah, correct, right.
Okay.
Maple Grove was selected as a heart-safe community, I believe the requirement for a community was to get 750 points. We achieved 980. They take a look at I guess wellness programs that a city has. They take a look at the public buildings, our public buildings. We've got defibrillators, and for example, the government center, we've got defibrillators on every floor. Our community center, we have defibrillators, and so they take a look at not only just a wellness program, but how well equipped is our city buildings.
Right.
So if somebody does unfortunately have a cardiac arrest, we've got the equipment there to deal with it immediately.
Very good.
So we're very happy about that. Maple Grove retail sales, we only have 2011 statistics, but there was $1.42 billion, not million, but billion dollars in retail sales for Maple Grove. And that's 2011 figures. I don't think we'll have 2012 until probably maybe toward the end of this year. It lags behind quite a bit.
It's a long time to count all that
It
money.
does, yeah, true. It lags behind probably a year or something like that. So
How does that compare to years before? Do they have any stats going back into first years of 2000s?
not really. My assumption is that we're probably looking at 4, 5, 6 times more than it was. And
Amazing number.
Yeah, it truly is. So the fire department, our fire rescue operation received a number of awards for their efficiency, and we're very pleased with that. Maple Grove has a ISO rating of 4, which is very, very good. Really good when you think that we're a volunteer fire department.
Right.
Not many fire departments can get a 4, so we're very fortunate that we've got a 4 rating, and that reflects positively on people's fire insurance.
Sure.
That they have to get for their homes or their apartment buildings, whatever the case may be. So we're very, very pleased about that. So we've had a couple other businesses. Patrick's Bakery is going to be coming into the space in January that was formerly occupied by California Pizza Kitchen. We have rumors, we have not seen the plan yet, but we have rumors that a large user is coming into the place where World Market was, right next to Whole Foods.
We wondered about the timing on that space after Whole Foods opened.
Right.
Seems
And
like
so-
an obvious spot.
It sure does. And so, but we're expecting something to be coming in very, very shortly on that. So,
Good.
so we're pleased with that. Chick-fil-A opened, and I must congratulate them on the. They have that down to a fine science. We knew that there was going to be a lot of people inside the building and through the drive-up. They brought in a lot of employees from down south. Because when you're going through there, every one of them had a southern accent, and so I'm saying you're not from Minnesota. But I was just amazed as to how smooth it went. But it continues to be busy. But eventually it'll settle into its own niche. So April 16, I know we're out of ways, but April 16 will be the border review, and that's a session where people can come to the council if they have concerns about their value, and then the staff will take those concerns into consideration, and then the city council reconvenes on April 30 to take a look. Should a person's value be kept the same? Should it be dropped? In some cases, not too many, in some cases it's increased. But that's April 16, and that's 2014, which sounds like a long ways away, but it's just
Be here
the scary
before we
part.
know it.
That's absolutely right.
As you look ahead to that this year because of what's happening with the housing prices, do you think there'll be more people interested in that discussion than in the past, or will people be pleased and not appear at the government center?
I think people will be pleased. I don't think we're going to see a filled chambers. We may have, obviously there's always the regulars, so to
Right,
speak.
right.
But I don't think that we're going to see a real outpouring. I think people are content with their values. In our case, in 2014, for taxes payable in 2015, we're seeing an increase in the home valuation, which is good because for the longest time, as the economy struggles, we've seen a negative factor, and so. But we'll see some folks that will come out because we see them every year.
Right,
and
exactly.
that's certainly their right.
All right, we'll remind you of that date as we get a little closer to April.
Just to show you how people want to work for Maple Grove, we have one opening for a police officer. We had a police position that became vacant, and so we advertised, and we had 282 applications, and that's just for one. So a lot of folks do want to work in Maple Grove, especially in our police department,
Right.
no doubt.
I have heard that over the years.
The city is putting together a plan for possibly a green development on the north side of Weaver Lake Road. I'm just in the process right now of going through it, but that would be to try to create, we have I think it's about a 7-acre site there that the city owns. We're thinking about creating a net zero energy project there. Probably be about 20 homes. We're just in the process of going through that, but Eden Prairie is working on something like that, and I think anybody that's needs to take a look at energy efficiency today, and so I think this does have some merit, but we'll see. We still have a lot of tinkering to do with it.
So how is the city involved in this, or is this something that's a partnership between the city and private firms that do this type of work?
We own the land.
You own the land.
Right, and so
But you will not be building
No,
the properties, obviously.
No, what we would do is request for proposal. We would get proposals from developers who would actually do the work, and then they'd have to meet certain criteria, certain conditions. But as I say, we're in the process of fine-tuning it. Whether or not we're able to move forward on it, I don't know right now. But it's not something that the city is going to build.
Right.
No.
But potentially a model for future developments that might come into the city that might meet that same criteria.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Our Parks and Recreation staff continues to work with the Osseo Maple Grove Basketball Association. They have a proposal for 3 gyms to be attached to Maple Grove Junior High. And so our staff is working with them on that project. That project will probably come to the City Council. I'm thinking the second meeting in November for council review and discussion.
So 3 additional gyms, you're
Right,
saying, to
right,
that space, which
right.
already has quite a few gyms already.
It has two gyms there now. The Minnesota Basketball Association, whatever it's called, but in order for associations in Minnesota to really be qualified for tournaments,
Right.
big tournaments, they need a minimum of 4 gyms.
Okay.
In this case, it'll give them 5, and so I think we'll see that the Basketball Association is going to be able to attract a lot more tournaments. And with that is, you got the people that are coming to the tournaments, they're going to shop in Maple Grove, they're going to eat in Maple Grove, so it has a nice ripple effect. So.
Okay. Time frame on that? Is there any idea at this point?
Well, I don't think that they'll actually start any real earthwork until probably when it starts to thaw.
Okay, so into
when the frost goes
2014.
out in the first part of 14, they would like to have all 3 open and operating by the basketball season in 2014.
So they can start scheduling tournaments,
Right.
no doubt.
So it's a fast pace, but so far they seem to be on track.
Very
So,
good.
yeah, we'll see how that works out. The council meeting was, as you had mentioned, it was 17 minutes long. We did approve the final plat for Silver Crest, which is actually called Silver Creek on Main. And then we approved a final plat for a dental office, which is to be located somewhat in front of I'm thinking Lowe's, or there's a parcel there.
Okay.
And so a dental office.
In the Fountains area.
In the Fountains area, yes. We received a proclamation as a extra mile city. We proclaimed that Maple Grove is an extra mile city. It means that we have residents that go the extra mile. They help people out, they volunteer. The city goes the extra mile to help people as well. So we're happy with that. We had a presentation from Cross, the new executive director of Cross, Liz Johnson, I think is the last name, was there to introduce herself and just talk about what Cross is doing. And I want to thank Shar Lake. Shar Lake was a former executive director. I think Shar was there for probably 16 years before she retired. She did a phenomenal job. Char's a wonderful, wonderful lady, and so we thank her for her 16 years of dedicated service. And so Liz was there just again to introduce herself to the council and talk about what Cross has things going now and what they're planning on doing. So they serve Maple Grove and a number of other communities. So we're very happy with being a part of that organization.
And for people that might not know, if they are struggling with food, that is obviously their main work they do in the community is as a food shelf, and
Yes.
they're located just up in Rogers. So
Right.
People can go on. Is there a connection on the city's website, or certainly go to the Cross Food
They
Shelf
could go
website?
to Cross. Yeah, they
Okay.
could go to Cross. I'm not certain if we've got a connection on our website, but for certain they could go to the Cross.
Okay, you can
Yeah.
find out more about some of the services. There's much more than the food shelf.
Oh,
but
gosh,
that's
yes, yes.
obviously what they're best known for, and a few plays and concerts along the way too
Right.
that help in their fundraising efforts.
Right, for sure. Yeah. So we're very happy for the service that they do provide. Our community, but then communities around us
Right.
as well. So we had a public hearing on assessments, special assessments against various properties that are in a process of being developed, and that was about 1 minute. None of the developers showed up because they've all gone through the process of knowing what special assessments are going to be. They've all accepted it, and so that was a very short public hearing. We had a public hearing on our weed assessment and delinquent weed assessment and delinquent city utility assessment. And again, we did not have anybody in attendance for those, and those were very, very simple. We're finding that I believe that the delinquent weed and the utility assessment a little higher than last year, but
Okay.
not something that alarms us.
Related to foreclosures in any way?
Yes,
Okay.
a lot of it has to do with that, sure does. We really do not want to go out and mow someone's property. We have enough to do without doing that. And so if the weeds get too tall and we're forced to do that, then yes, we will go out and we will mow the property. We then assess it back to the property.
Right.
So it's not costing our taxpayers any money to go mow someone else's property. But we do have to do the delinquent assessments, and so again, that's assessed against the property.
Okay.
So, the meeting was very smooth. We had very few people in attendance, and we went through those public hearings very quickly. And the next meeting is November 4th, and we have some projects that are kind of in the mill. They haven't maybe submitted an official application. They've talked to staff, so I can't divulge any names, but I think that some of the projects that are possibly coming to the city, I think will be very beneficial.
Okay. Very good.
So very happy.
Now, last time we got together, you were very happy about 610, and I just want to keep the roll going here that we're talking about 610. Any new news since the last time we got together in early October about 610 and funding possibilities?
Well, we still are part of that corridor of commerce, which the legislature adopted and bonded $300 million into it. We have been assured that 610 will pick up $100 million of that, and so we're very pleased. We've also been assured that Governor Dayton has instructed MnDOT to place 610 as the #1 priority, and so we're very pleased with that. We have been sending letters to our elected officials in Washington to gather their support for additional funding because 100 million unfortunately doesn't cover the cost
Right.
of completing 610. And so we're working on the federal level to get some federal dollars. Maple Grove still has some money that we didn't use on some other transportation projects that we
Okay.
can use. But the big thing is the Corridor of Commerce and the $100 million. And so this is probably the closest to getting 610 finished that I think we've ever been. And we're told is that the governor has said, get it going in August. Get the bids out in August, let the bids and take a look at the bids in September, and bingo, get that project going, and I hope that is the case. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you're still smiling, so that's a good sign. So
Right.
if time allows, we're going to keep asking each time
Yes.
to keep you up to
We're
date
hope-
on
we're
that.
very,
because
very
it's an
hopeful.
important project for
Yes.
the city of Maple Grove. Al, thank you very much again for your
Thank you,
time.
Dave.
We'll talk
Thank
to you
you.
again soon. Let's leave you with that next council meeting date and more information if you want more about some of the topics we've touched on today. The next meeting is on Monday, November 4th, 7:30 at the Government Center. 494-6000, the number to call the Government Center, and you see on the top of the screen the website information. So if you want to find out more about some of the upcoming events, also more about the transit station and some of the work going on there, maplegrovemn.gov. And if you have questions or comments for the program, 533-1710, our viewer response line. We'll try to answer your questions here. For Al Madsen, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.